Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, has been released, and like every other Star Wars book, it was packed with lots of cool little details and references to other pieces of the Star Wars universe, as well as hints at what's to come in Rogue One. So in this video, I'm going to cover 51 new facts revealed by James Luceno's book. Why 51? I don't know, it was going to be 50, but it just worked out that way. Some of these I covered in my review yesterday, but there were lots of little things that I think are worth talking about that just don't merit their own individual video, so let's get started. Oh, and of course, this is going to be absolutely full of spoilers, so if you plan on reading this, you might want to hold off on watching. The Death Star began construction as a Republic weapon, not Separatist. After Dooku brought the plans to Sidious, Palpatine used them to instill fear that the Separatists were building a superweapon and that the Republic needed to build a version of their own first. Palpatine created the Strategic Advisory Cell to take charge of the Battle Station project. The members of the cell assumed the plans had been captured along with Poggle the Lesser after the Second Battle of Geonosis. Every member signed the official Secrets Act to keep Republic citizens, even the Jedi, from learning about the project. One member of the advisory cell was Dr. Gubok, who appeared in the Clone Wars as the engineer that upgraded the members of D Squad. Orson Krennic was a lieutenant commander in special weapons after transferring from the Corps of Engineers. The rank insignias of the Republic and the Empire not only indicated seniority, but also worked as automatic security clearance to enter restricted areas. Construction on the Death Star began less than 1 year after the Battle of Geonosis, meaning it took nearly 23 years to build. Sentinel Base, which was mentioned in the novel Tarkin, was already established by this time. Since the Death Star was being built in Geonosis' orbit, the asteroids surrounding it were mined for ores. Geonosis' battle droid factories were also converted to refineries to assist in construction. The first piece of the Death Star to be completed was the Prime Meridian. Geonosians were responsible for introducing autonomous thinking to battle droids, so they weren't controlled by a central computer like they were on Naboo. Knowing the Death Star would require a large workforce, Poggle the Lesser's freedom was negotiated in exchange for the use of his drones. Sate Pestage, Janus Grijatus, and Ars Dangor were all mentioned attending the return of Poggle to Geonosis with Krennic. Geonosians almost needed work to survive. They fought and killed each other over tasks they found satisfying, a practice which was considered completely natural to them. Over the course of its construction, members of the Strategic Advisory Cell wondered why Dooku never attacked Geonosis. Of course, we know this is because he is simply following his master's orders. It would appear that Kyber crystals were impossible to synthesize because they were organic to some degree. The Jedi called them living crystals. Large Kyber crystals were rumored to decorate the various Jedi temples spread throughout the galaxy, so we may see something like that on Jedha. Galen Erso was researching Kyber crystals so that he could harness their power to provide cheap energy to developing worlds. Lyra, Galen's wife, was pregnant with Jyn, and it's mentioned that the more wealthy women of Coruscant would pay surrogates to carry their children to term. Jyn was born in the first year of the Clone Wars. That would make her about 21 years old at the time of Rogue One. Galen was from a planet called Grange, which is a brand new planet. Lyra was force sensitive, but not enough to control it. She was more just connected to nature and could feel the force rather than access any power through it. Lyra was also an intergalactic traveler, and we learned that there were a number of wonders of the galaxy, much like there are wonders of the world. There were 50 wonders of the core, there were 30 wonders of the mid-rim, and there were 25 wonders of the outer rim. Morsirian scientists working for the Separatists were attempting to develop biological agents that would target and kill clone troopers, which is referenced in Servants of the Empire as the reason the clone army was phased out. Galen spent some time imprisoned by the Separatists. Upon his return to Coruscant, he and Tarkin bonded over their shared experience, although Tarkin had a much harsher time on the Citadel. Krennic disliked the idea of reporting to Tarkin, who was rumored to take control of the entire Death Star project. Tarkin, as we all know, did have his eyes set on controlling the project, but was content for a while to allow Krennic to serve as the scapegoat for the numerous delays on construction. Up until the end of the Clone Wars, there was an area on Coruscant that was untouched by the city called the Bancora Refuge. The Imperial Company logo was not so subtly the Death Star. This is my own rendering based off the description in the book. Galen was given access to the largest Kyber crystal he had ever seen, noting its clear color, confirming a tweet from Pablo Hidalgo stating that the large crystals were also colorless until bonded with a Jedi. Every department of the battle station's development had a cover name and agency. The Super Laser's cover was Project Celestial Power. Other names included Stellar Sphere, Mark Omega, and Pax Aurora. Galen was a pacifist and was under the impression that his research was for energy enrichment, but his work was sent to another facility where attempts were made to weaponize it. One failed test resulted in the total destruction of an entire city and the deaths of tens of thousands of beings. Another similar facility was located on the planet Hypori, which was noted for the Battle of Hypori. The battle described was taken from the 2003 Clone Wars cartoon, so part of that series is now officially canon. The Super Laser's first successful test fire took place near two black holes. This could be a nod to the Maw installation from Legends. Those two black holes were nicknamed Hero Twins. This is a reach, but maybe that's a reference to Jacen and Jaina Solo, also from Legends, although classifying Jacen as a hero is definitely open for debate. The test Super Laser was 2% the size of the final version. A group of smugglers attempting to hide weapons and munitions from the Empire used an incredibly antiquated technology called a boat. A visitor marveled at the craft actually floating in the water rather than above it. A mining conglomerate named Turlin Benthic was located on a planet that was taken over by the Empire for its resources. Benthic is the name of one of the new aliens in Rogue One, nicknamed Two Tubes, who is known to be fighting the Empire after they invaded his homeworld. The galaxy had what were called legacy worlds. They were like protected environmental or historical sites. The Empire began ravaging them for resources. Saw Gerrera began fighting the Empire in retaliation to the devastation of legacy worlds. When Galen learned what his research was actually being used for, he escaped Coruscant with Saw's help. This means that Jyn had a long history with Saw. The Ersos traveled to a planet called La Mu, which is probably the same planet seen in the Rogue One trailers. Gerrera gave the Ersos a communication card in case they ever needed his help again. I think he will help rescue Jyn from Krennic in Rogue One. Galen's escape meant a complete stall on the final Super Laser until he could be found. Krennic was blamed for the escape of the Ersos. For his failure, he received a demotion and Tarkin was assigned to oversee his future work. There you have it. 51 new facts from Catalyst. I'm sure I missed some, so if there's something cool you'd like to talk about, leave it in the comments. Also, even though I just spoiled quite a bit of the book, if you're still interested in experiencing the full story for yourself, you can get the audiobook for free with a trial of Audible. There is a link in the description where you can sign up and get the book and support the channel at the same time. If you haven't already, please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel to see new Star Wars videos every day, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.